Los Angeles, 1969. The king of cool walks into Bruce Lee's school. Steve McQueen, Hollywood's biggest action star, owner of 138 motorcycles, living legend. He's heard about Bruce, the martial arts teacher, training celebrities. Steve is skeptical. Just another Hollywood fad. But his friend insists, you need to see this. Just watch. What Steve witnesses in the next 3 minutes shatters everything he thought he knew about strength, control, and what it means to be truly cool. The next day, he calls his collector. Sell them, all of them, every motorcycle. All 138? Are you serious? Dead serious. I don't need them anymore. Let me tell you about the 3 minutes that changed Steve McQueen's life. 1969. Steve McQueen is at his peak. Bullet just released. Iconic car chase. Box office king. His image. Speed, danger, rebellion. Motorcycles are his obsession. 138 of them. Rare bikes, custom builds. His identity. More than transportation. A statement. I'm Steve McQueen. I'm fast. I'm dangerous. I'm cool. Then his friend James Coburn calls. Steve, you need to meet Bruce Lee. The kung fu teacher? He's more than that. Come see, just once. Steve reluctantly agrees. Goes to Bruce's school in Chinatown. Expects a show, some flashy demonstrations, movie stuff. Bruce greets him, humble, quiet. Mr. McQueen, welcome. Steve is surprised. Expected arrogance, showmanship, gets humility. Call me Steve. What are we doing? I'm teaching a class you can observe or participate. I'll watch first. Bruce nods, begins teaching. Students practicing, Wing Chun techniques, precise movements, controlled power. Steve watches, impressed by the discipline, but not convinced. Looks nice, but does it work? Bruce stops, looks at Steve. Would you like to see? See what? If it works. Steve shrugs. Sure. Bruce turns to his students. Who wants to demonstrate? A large student steps forward. 6 feet 2 inches, 200 pounds. Former boxer, Bruce faces him. Attack me. Full power, don't hold back. The student hesitates. Sifu, I don't want to hurt you. Bruce is 5 feet 7 inches, 140 pounds. You won't. Attack. The student attacks. Throws a heavy punch. Full commitment. What happens next? Steve never forgets. Bruce moves, not away, toward, inside the punch, before it extends. Traps the arm, strikes 3 times. Ribs, solar plexus, jaw, light contact, perfect control. The student freezes, realizes, if those were full power, he'd be unconscious. Bruce releases him, steps back. Again, different attack. The student throws a kick, high, fast. Bruce doesn't block, doesn't dodge, redirects, uses the momentum, sweeps the standing leg. The student crashes, hard. Bruce offers his hand, pulls him up. Total time, 3 minutes. Steve is frozen. He's seen movie fights, choreographed, rehearsed, fake. This was different. Real speed, real power, real control. Bruce didn't just beat the student, he controlled him. Completely. Every movement efficient. No wasted energy, no showmanship. Pure function. Steve thinks about his motorcycles. 138 bikes. Most he never rides. Just owns. To own. To prove something. To feel something. To be something. Fast. Dangerous. Cool. But watching Bruce, he sees real speed. Not engine speed. Human speed. Real danger. Controlled danger. Mastered danger. Real cool. Not manufactured. Authentic. Bruce approaches. What did you see? Steve struggles to answer. I saw efficiency. No wasted movement. Bruce nods. That's martial arts, not flashy, functional. Every movement has purpose. Everything else is removed. Steve asks. Your students, they move like that too? With time, with practice, with letting go. Letting go of what? Ego, showmanship, the need to look good. When you let go of those, what remains is pure effectiveness. This hits Steve hard, his entire image. Built on show, the leather jacket, the motorcycles, the rebel attitude, all performance, all image, all ego. Bruce continues, I can teach you, if you want, not to fight, but to move, to control, to be present. Steve surprises himself. Yes, I want that. If you love Bruce Lee stories, subscribe. I post rare stories every day. Steve becomes Bruce's student, trains 3 times a week, early mornings before shoots. The training is hard, not physically, mentally. Bruce strips away everything. Stop trying to look cool. Just be effective. Steve struggles. His whole life, built on image. Now Bruce wants him to drop it. First session, Steve arrives. Leather jacket, designer sunglasses, perfect hair. Bruce looks at him. The jacket, take it off. This jacket is my image. You don't need it here. Just you. No costume. Steve hesitates. This jacket, $2,000 custom leather. Part of his persona. Without it, I'm just yourself, Bruce finishes. That's the point. Be yourself, not your image. Steve removes it. Feels exposed, vulnerable, uncomfortable. Good, Bruce says. Discomfort means growth. Comfort means stagnation. They begin training. Basic stance. Steve's natural instinct. Stand cool, look tough, appear dangerous. Bruce corrects. You're posing. Stop. Stance isn't about looking good. It's about function, balance, stability, mobility. Forget appearance. Focus on function. Steve tries, can't. Decades of image. Ingrained. Bruce demonstrates. His stance. Not impressive, not flashy, just efficient, balanced, ready, functional. Copy this. Not how it looks, how it feels. Steve tries, feels awkward. This doesn't feel powerful. Because you're measuring power by appearance. Real power is invisible. It's potential. Coiled, ready, not displayed. Week after week, Bruce dismantles Steve's habits. Your punch, you're tensing, trying to show power. Relax. Power comes from relaxation, not tension. Your movement, too big, wasted, small movements, efficient, cover more ground with less energy. Your breathing, controlled, not dramatic, functional. Oxygen is fuel. Don't waste it on performance. Steve is frustrated. Everything I do, you tell me to do less. Bruce smiles. Exactly, that's the lesson. Less is more. Economy, efficiency, remove what doesn't work. What remains is mastery. Month 3. Steve starts getting it. One morning, they're sparring. Light contact. Steve throws a punch. Simple, direct, efficient. Bruce doesn't counter, just stops. That was perfect. Steve is confused. It was just a normal punch. Exactly. No performance, no show. Just function. That's mastery. When technique becomes invisible, when you're not trying, just doing. Steve feels it. The shift from performing to being. Bruce continues teaching. Not just martial arts. Philosophy. One day Bruce asks, "Why do you have so many motorcycles?" Steve is caught off guard. I like them. Do you ride them all? No, most just sit in storage. Climate controlled, preserved. Then why own them? Steve thinks. Really thinks. Because they represent something. Freedom, speed, rebellion. Do they, or do you hope they do? Steve is silent. Bruce continues gently. You're collecting symbols of who you want to be. But symbols aren't the thing. They're representations. You can own 1,000 motorcycles. But if you don't ride them, you're not experiencing freedom. You're collecting the idea of freedom, Steve argues. But when I ride, you feel alive because you're present, focused, in the moment. Not because of the bike. The bike is just the vehicle. You're the experience, the presence, the aliveness. Take away the bike, you still have that. If you're willing to access it. This is revolutionary. To Steve, his entire identity, built on possessions, the bikes, the cars, the watches, the clothes, all symbols of who he's performing, not who he is. Bruce shares his own story. When I came to America, I had nothing. One suitcase, few dollars. But I was alive, present, training, learning, growing. Then I started making money, buying things, nice apartment, nice clothes, nice car. And I felt less alive, more burdened. What did you do? I simplified, kept only what I used, got rid of the rest, and I felt free again. Not because I was poor, but because I wasn't carrying unnecessary weight. Steve considers this. His collection, 138 motorcycles, most never ridden, just owned, maintained, stored, insured, worried about. Weight, not freedom. Bruce adds, possessions require energy to maintain, to protect, to worry about. Every possession is a responsibility, a burden. The question is the value worth the cost? Steve goes home, looks at his garage. 138 motorcycles. Beautiful, rare, valuable, and he feels burdened, not free. The next day, he calls his collector, makes the decision, sells 137, keeps one, the Triumph, the one he actually rides every week with joy, with presence, not to own, to experience. His friends think he's crazy. Steve, those bikes are investments, worth millions. Steve responds, what's the point of an investment I never enjoy? I'd rather have one bike I ride than 137 I worry about. Some understand, most don't, but Steve doesn't care. For the first time, he's not performing, not proving, just being, and it feels incredible. The motorcycles sell over 6 months. Steve keeps one, a Triumph, the one he rides, not displays. Rides. The money, he doesn't keep it. Donates most. To youth programs, martial arts schools, places that teach discipline, control, presence. Things Bruce taught him. His friends are shocked. Steve, those bikes were your identity. Steve smiles. No, they were my costume. Bruce showed me. Real identity doesn't need props. His acting changes too. More presence, less performance. Directors notice. Steve, something's different. You're more authentic. He credits Bruce in interviews. Bruce Lee taught me martial arts, but more than that, he taught me to let go of image, of ego, of the need to prove anything. Just be present, be real, be effective. 1973. Bruce dies. Steve is devastated, loses his teacher, his friend, his guide, at the funeral. Steve speaks. Bruce Lee changed my life, not in years, in 3 minutes. I watched him fight once, just once, and I saw what real strength looks like, real control, real presence. I spent my whole life collecting things to prove I was cool. Bruce showed me cool isn't something you own, it's something you are. By being fully present, fully yourself, no performance, no image, just truth. Steve continues teaching what Bruce taught him to young actors. Don't act, be, don't perform, exist, don't show, embody. They don't always understand, but he keeps teaching, honoring Bruce. 1980, Steve McQueen dies, cancer, age 50. His obituary mentions the motorcycles, the movies, the legend, but close friends. Mention something else, the transformation after meeting Bruce. One friend recalls. Steve was different after 1969. Less about image, more about substance. He sold 137 motorcycles, kept one, the one he rode. That symbolized everything. Let go of what you don't need. Keep what you use. Be present with what matters. Another remembers. Steve would say, Bruce taught me in 3 minutes what took me 40 years to not understand. That strength isn't proven. It's possessed. Control isn't shown. It's exercised. Cool isn't performed. It's embodied. The one motorcycle Steve kept, after his death, goes to a museum with a plaque. This Triumph belonged to Steve McQueen. He owned 138 motorcycles, sold 137 after training with Bruce Lee. Kept only this one, the one he rode. A reminder, presence over possession. If you love Bruce Lee stories, subscribe. I post rare stories every day. The story spreads, becomes legend. Steve McQueen, king of cool, sold his motorcycle collection after 3 minutes with Bruce Lee. People analyze it, study it, try to understand what happened in those 3 minutes. Psychologists suggest McQueen saw authenticity, real power, real control. It contrasted with his performed power, his collected image. He realized he'd been performing his whole life. Bruce showed him what being actually looked like. Film critics note, McQueen's best performances came after 1969. After Bruce, More naturalistic, less performed, more present. That's Bruce's influence. Teaching presence. Martial artists understand. Bruce didn't just show technique, he embodied principle, economy, efficiency, presence. McQueen saw that, recognized his own inefficiency, his collection, his image. All waste. He eliminated it, just like Bruce eliminated wasted movement. The lesson endures. Decades later. Don't collect what you don't use. Don't perform what you don't feel. Don't prove what you already are. Bruce taught this in 3 minutes, not with words, with demonstration, pure efficiency, pure control, pure presence. Steve learned, changed, let go of 137 motorcycles, of decades of image, of a lifetime of performance, became real, finally, at 39 years old. Because of 3 minutes, with a 5'7" martial artist, who showed him. Real cool isn't loud, isn't flashy, isn't collected, it's quiet, efficient, present. That's the legacy. Not the motorcycles sold, but the transformation, from performance to presence, from collection to experience, from image to authenticity. 3 minutes. Changed everything. For the king of cool. Who learned? From the master of presence. That being cool means not needing to prove it. Next time, the other Hollywood legends Bruce transformed. James Coburn's spiritual awakening. Roman Polanski's discipline journey. Sterling Silliphant's creative revolution. Each one changed by Bruce, not through years, through moments. Moments of truth. Moments of presence. Moments that shattered illusions and revealed reality. Because Bruce Lee's greatest skill wasn't fighting, it was revealing truth. In minutes. That others spend lifetimes avoiding. That's mastery, not of body, of being.